Picture this. You're sitting at the edge of the Grand Canyon as the sun sets. I mean, it's a place that just screams deep time, right? Billions of years of history laid bare. And sitting there with you are two of the most revolutionary thinkers imaginable, Charles Darwin and Elon Musk. So let's dive into this imagined conversation and what their totally clashing worldviews mean for, well, for all of us over the next 20 years.
So first, you've got Darwin's perspective. He's looking at this canyon, and for him, it's the ultimate proof of his theory. He sees life as this incredible result of millions and millions of years of just accidental, brutal, and totally directionless adaptation. It's magnificent for sure, but there's no grand plan. There's no purpose. It just happens.
And that right there, that sets up the whole idea we're exploring today. It's this conversation across time that really pits the old way of thinking about evolution against something new, something radically different, a future that isn't driven by chance, but by conscious, deliberate choice.
Let's just break down how different these two models are. On one side, you have Darwin's natural selection. It's blind, it's painfully slow, it's accidental, and it's purely reactive. Life just adapts to whatever environment it finds itself in. But on the other side, we have what you could call technological selection. And this is a whole different ballgame. It's conscious, it's incredibly fast, it's intentional, and get this, it doesn't just adapt to the environment, it literally creates entirely new ones.
But here's the truly wild part. The end result of that first, slow, accidental process is something of a miracle. I mean, think about it. After 13.8 billion years of cosmic history, a random collection of atoms, that's us, somehow woke up and became self-aware. We are literally the universe looking back at itself. And as far as we know, this unbelievably improbable little flame of consciousness has only sparked into life once, right here on planet Earth.
So this brings us to a critical moment, a real precipice. We've gone from being this cosmic accident to being capable of real intention. But you know, this new power, it comes with a massive, urgent responsibility. Because that miracle of consciousness, it's incredibly, incredibly fragile. Which leads us to the big, scary question. After all that time, after all that struggle, is this unique flame of consciousness actually safe? I mean, stuck here on a single planet, it's just so vulnerable to, well, everything. A random asteroid, catastrophic climate change, or hey, even our own worst tendencies.
This metaphor just hits it perfectly. Right now, all of humanity, all of life as we know it, is like a single hard drive. And on that hard drive is the most precious data in the entire universe. But there is absolutely no backup. One critical failure, one blue screen of death, and it's all gone. Forever. The stakes aren't just about us. They're about preserving consciousness itself.
So, what do we do? What's the solution? Well, it's probably not going to be small, incremental changes. We're talking about a fundamental leap in our own evolution. It's about consciously making the choice to become a multi-planetary species. And this is where our imagined Elon Musk would chime in. He'd argue that going to Mars isn't just some grand adventure, like climbing Mount Everest. No, it's a biological imperative. It's a leap that's on par with life itself crawling out of the oceans and onto land. It's a fundamental change in what we are and where we're headed. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy we're talking about. The roadmap for this is, well, it's aggressive. Within about a decade, the plan is a permanent base on the moon. And then, within just 2 decades, the beginnings of a self-sustaining city on Mars. We are talking about the biggest transformation in human history happening within our lifetimes. Okay, but hold on. How is a leap that monumental even possible in such a short amount of time? I mean, Darwin's evolution took millions of years. What's the engine that could possibly power this new, super-fast evolution? To really wrap our heads around it, we have to look way back in time, about 541 million years ago, to a period called the Cambrian explosion. In the grand scheme of things, it was a pretty short window of time where the diversity of life on Earth just exploded. It created the basic blueprints for most of the animal life that still exists today.
So here's the argument. We are living through a new kind of Cambrian explosion right now. But this time, it's not happening in the oceans. Nope, it's happening inside the ecosystem of big tech. The sheer variety and power of new technologies that are emerging, it's happening at a speed that biology could never, ever dream of matching.
And this is the survival kit that's being built for this next chapter.
You really have to think of these not as separate cool gadgets, but as one integrated system for becoming a multi-planetary species. You've got AI to manage all the complex systems, humanoid robots to build stuff in really harsh environments, reusable spacecraft to make the whole thing affordable, and even brain-computer interfaces to start merging our own biology with our technology.
So, this really forces us to completely reframe how we see these massive corporations. From this viewpoint, they aren't just selling us phones or social media ads, they are building the fundamental infrastructure that will allow humanity to evolve beyond Earth. They are the engine of this new, intentional form of selection.
Okay, I get it. This is all super fascinating on a grand cosmic scale, but what does it actually have to do with you? How does this huge vision connect back to our everyday lives and the choices we make?
Well, this is where we need to challenge how we usually think about something like the stock market. I think a lot of us see it as kind of like a casino, right? A place for short-term gambling. But there's a totally different way to look at it, as a massive system for allocating resources. It's basically the mechanism our society uses to decide which version of the future it wants to fund and actually build.
And this leads to a really powerful idea. When you invest, especially if you're thinking long-term about these companies building that survival kit, you're doing a lot more than just trying to make money. You're casting a vote. You are literally directing capital towards a very specific vision of humanity's future, one where we finally secure that precious flame of consciousness by taking it out among the stars.
So, we'll end with that question. In this whole grand ecosystem of capital and innovation, we all play a part, whether we realize it or not. Your resources, your attention, your belief, they all act as votes. So, given the choice between a future that's stuck on one hard drive with no backup and a future that's spread safely across the cosmos, which one will you bet on?